This is part 3 for Dethroning the Ego, and it has to do with the ego's sense of entitlement. What happens in the mind when we have unexpected outcomes? We fail on routes that we expected to succeed on, especially routes we know we can do. We feel entitled to succeed. Success feeds the ego's sense of self-importance. And so failing is kind of sabotaging that strategy that the ego has. And so what the ego will do is make excuses for those failures to kind of protect itself. I could have succeeded, but my foot slipped. Or I could have succeeded, but my belayer short roped me. Or I could have succeeded, but I got too pumped. So these statements may be true, but the point is that when the ego is looking at what happened as an excuse, then it shifts attention away from what you can actually do to learn from the situation. It's focused on what it wished would have happened instead of what actually happened. So what do you do about it? You change your expectations. Instead of expecting to succeed, you expect to exert effort. And it's a 3-step process. Number 1, observe when you're making excuses and then shift your attention toward what actually happened. Number 2, identify the reason of why you failed. And you do this by describing objectively what happened. So if your foot slipped, then you are describing objectively about how you placed your foot and anything else that you're doing with your body and your mind and your breathing that led to that imprecise foot placement. If the belayer short roped you, then you described your part in how you communicated with your belayer and talk with your belayer to find out what they did that contributed to being short roped. Maybe they need to be trained. If you get too pumped on a climb, then you're describing objectively like what led to that. Did you climb too slowly? And when you fell off, thinking that you're pumped, did you fall off while you're making a move, staying committed, or did you fall off just by letting go? Which is an indication that the mind just gave up when the body could have perhaps continued. So you're describing these things objectively to get new information. And then that leads us to step number 3, which is you incorporate this new information into your new strategy. If your foot slipped, then you're more precise in how you move your body and place your foot to diminish that from happening. If the belayer short roped you, then and you learned that they didn't know how to give you a proper catch, or that maybe you were wanting to be held a little bit tight and not have too much slack in the system because you're afraid of falling, then you communicate that and find a way to work together better. If you got too pumped because you were maybe climbing too slowly and you fell by letting go with 2 hands, then you change your strategy by climbing a little bit faster and making sure that you stay committed by making that next move. Of course, that's in yes fall zones. You take control of your attention by dethroning the ego's sense of entitlement. And you do it by changing your expectations. Don't expect to succeed, expect to exert effort. A simple practice tip is this 3-step process. Just notice if you're making excuses, describe situations objectively to find out what's going on, and number 3, incorporate that new information into your strategy for the next effort. So that's the lesson. You can go to warriorsway.com, get the full text and audio. You can also check out our books and courses and reach out to us so we can help you with your mental training journey. We'd love to work with you. Thanks.